We want to welcome you to our Leavenworth City Commission meeting. We ask that you turn off or silence all cell phones. Our meetings are televised every day on Channel 2 at 6 p.m. and also at midnight, also available for viewing on YouTube. At this time, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by silent meditation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Amen.
First order of business, old business, consideration of previous meeting minutes from February 14, 2023 regular meeting. Do I have any questions or comments? If not, I'll
I move that we accept the minutes as recorded.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 Motion carried, 5-0. Next item on the agenda, new business, public comments. Public comments is limited to 2 to 3 minutes, and we ask that when you come up to the podium, please state your name and address. No action will be taken by the commission. Ms. Sarah, do we have anyone that signed up?
2 people signed up tonight. First, we have Gail Kempter.
Okay. Welcome, Ms. Gale.
I feel like I'm on a game show. But thank you so much for allowing me to participate. This is my first time, so I'm like, my 3 minutes, okay. I do not receive the Leavenworth Times. My mother does, who is 95 at this moment, lives on her own at home, knock on wood. And she told me about the trash bins. Are we no longer going to be able to put trash bags out? Are there going to be exceptions to, like I have health issues, she's 95, so I'm wondering, you know, because it would be physically impossible for her to drag from her garage to the front where they pick up the trash, and for me to come from the back alley up around to the front to, you know. So I was just wondering, I don't know what has been discussed. Like I said, this is my first time being here.
Okay.
And I was wondering, you know, are there exceptions? Do we fill out a paper? And I thank you so much for your time. I just wanted to, you know, like get my 2 cents in.
No, you're good. Before you go.
I can answer your question for you. If you so choose, absolutely nothing will change.
Yeah.
You can still use bags. You don't have to use the poly carts. You can opt out. And even if you opt in and get a poly cart, you don't have to use it. If it's easier for you to use bags and continue to carry them out, you may continue to do so. There's nothing that prevents that.
Yeah, because it's a limitation,
Right.
you know.
Yes,
for,
ma'am.
You know, like
Yep.
a younger senior citizen.
Sure.
So,
I got your back. Yes,
thank you
ma'am.
so very much, and I'm like, woohoo.
Yeah, thank you for your time, ma'am. Appreciate you.
And then next, we have Public Information Officer Melissa Bauer.
All right.
Good evening, Commissioners. I just wanted to make a quick announcement. Volunteers are needed for the Leavenworth Citywide Spring Cleanup, Saturday, April 22nd. This event brings together hundreds of volunteers to pick up trash throughout the city of Leavenworth. Volunteers who sign up by April 5th will receive a free t-shirt. All volunteers will get a 1-day pool pass to Woolman Aquatic Center. We expect to have many scout groups, churches, nonprofit organizations, businesses, civic groups, and school groups aid us in our quest to remove as much trash as possible from the city streets in 1 day. Picking up trash helps us keep our city clean, prevents trash from washing into our creeks and streams, and also helps the city of Leavenworth in meeting its KDHE stormwater reporting requirements. The spring cleanup provides our youngest, oldest, and everyone in between a chance to give back to their community, so we hope to get a lot of volunteers this year. There's a sign-up sheet online, or our teams can contact me at melissab@firstcity.org. That's my email address, or my phone number, which is 913-680-2610. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Melissa, will this be on the city website?
Absolutely. If you look on our website on the homepage, there's like a little map cut out that talks about the spring cleanup, and you can click on that link and it'll give you more information.
Thank you so much, appreciate it. Those are the only two, Ms. Sarah? All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is the mayor's appointment. I move to appoint to the First Judicial District Juvenile Corrections Advisory Board, Vicky Kaz, to an unexpired term ending February 14, 2024. I also move to appoint to the Leavenworth County Port Authority, Dave Schroeder, to a term ending March 25th, 2027. And I also move to appoint to the Conventions and Tourism Committee, Gerald West III, to an unexpired term ending January 31st, 2025. This requires a second.
Second.
All right, motion has been seconded. I begin voting with Commissioner Leanne Hart.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Motion carried, 5-0. Next item on the agenda, consider cereal malt beverage license for Shop Smart Number 2, 700 Eisenhower Road.
Sir?
Mayor Commissioners, this is a request to issue an off-premise 2023 cereal malt beverage license for Shop Smart. It is located kind of at the corner cat diagonal from Dillon's. It is one of our stragglers from the renewal season. They just kind of forgot to turn this one in. So they have their current health permit with the city, and it has been approved by the police department. So tonight we're just requesting approval of their cereal malt beverage license for the year.
Yep, thank you. Any questions or comments?
Diagonal from Dillon's?
And a little,
The corner of Shrine Park and
Look at the
I
gas
think
Yeah,
station.
that gas
the
station.
gas station.
Oh,
is
the
right
gas,
there.
okay, it's on the same
Yeah.
big lot.
yeah. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move approval of the issuance of the 2023 off-premise consumption cereal malt beverage license for Shop Smart Number 2 at 700 Eisenhower Road.
I second.
Motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 Motion carried, 5-0. Next item on the agenda, Resolution B 2328, Annual Report for Stormwater 2022.
Mr. Brian Faust, our Director of Public Works.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. The item this evening is to adopt a resolution approving the annual KDHE report for the 2022 stormwater activities. The city is required to submit an annual report to KDHE that summarizes actions the city has taken the previous year to protect and enhance stormwater quality. The draft report was reviewed by the Commission on February 14th and is available on the city's website. No input or concerns were received from residents regarding the report. However, yesterday, Matt from the library did email the city and let us know that they would be happy to provide and share information regarding stormwater with the public, including serving as a distribution point for any materials that we may have. And so that really goes a long ways on one of our minimum control measures for public education. The final report does include statements from the city that the city has reduced pollution in accordance with the requirements to the maximum extent practical. Staff's opinion is the city has met the intent of the regulations to reduce pollution through the 6 minimum control measures as described in the report. There is considerable additional information in the appendices that are included with the report when submitted. The report is due tomorrow, and we recommend the City Commission adopt Resolution B 2328 supporting the final report. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Do we have any questions or comments?
Not here.
If not,
We reviewed it.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Move to approve the resolution B 2328, supporting the final report of the city.
Second.
motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Leanne Hart.
Aye.
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 Motion carried, 5-0. Next item on the agenda, consider award of bids for property maintenance services.
Julie Hurley, the Director of Community Planning and Development.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commission. This is our, these are our contracts for our mowing services that we do annually for some city-owned properties as well as code enforcement properties. We put out a bid for, to receive bids on the clusters of our city-owned properties, as well as, again, the property maintenance that we do for the code enforcement. We received a total of 4 proposals as of the due date on February 21st. The low bids were as follows. We have 5 clusters for the city-owned properties. For cluster 1, the low bid was ground effects, lawn and landscaping for a total of $1,595 per mowing, not to exceed $22,330. Cluster 2 is Wilkins Lawn Care, total of $950 per mowing, not to exceed $13,300 for the season. Cluster 3 is Mayor's Lawn and Landscape for $375 per mowing, not to exceed $5,250 for the season. Cluster 4 is Ground Effects Lawn and Landscape for $389 per mowing, not to exceed $5,446 for the season. Cluster 5 is also Ground Effects Lawn and Landscape for $335 per mowing, not to exceed $4,690. The total on that was $51,016. We do mow our city properties every other week, and so that's all outlined in the contract. We have a total of 14 mowings for the year that will be covered with these contracts. And then the property maintenance, the low bid was Affordable Lawn Care at a cost of 2 cents per square foot. And these we do on an as-needed basis. We don't necessarily put out a contract for code enforcement mowing every week. It just kind of depends on how many properties we have that need to be mowed. So this contract will be issued for a period of 2 years with the option to renew for an additional 2 years. So staff would recommend the acceptance of the proposals for mowing services for the selected contractors as outlined in the policy report. If you have any questions, I can answer those for you.
Thank you. It's good to see the prices went down.
The prices went down, and also, if you'll remember, we were really in a crisis last year finding contractors.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I'm happy for that industry or that line of work that they've maybe found some stability, so it was
That's good.
good to see. And it was nice that we could award everybody who put in a bid with at least one cluster.
That's good.
Spread it out a little bit, so happy with that.
Yeah, appreciate that. Are there any questions or comments?
Looks good to me.
Yep. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the proposals for the mowing services for the selected contractors. Ground FX, lawn and landscape for perpetual lawn care not to exceed $32,466. Wilkins Lawn Care for perpetual lawn care not to exceed $13,300. Mayor's Lawn and Landscaping for perpetual lawn care not to exceed $5,250. And Affordable Lawn Care for property maintenance at a cost of 2 cents per shift.
Square foot.
Square foot, sorry, square foot. I can't read.
It's little.
Thank you.
Second. Motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Leonhardt.
Aye.
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 Motion carried, 5-0. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, consider the award of design services contract for sanitary sewer flow monitoring and analysis project.
Once again, Brian Faust will handle this item.
Again, thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. This item this evening is to consider a contract with George Butler Associates, or GBA, for the 2023 sanitary sewer flow monitoring and analysis project. Excuse me. The City of Leavenworth has been concerned with the amount of inflow and infiltration that enters the wastewater system, and reduction of the I&I was identified as an important issue in recent master plans. The photo up on the screen shows kind of the difference between infiltration and inflow. I've been doing this for 30 years, so it's obvious to me that you guys are, for the most part, fairly new. Infiltration refers to groundwater that slowly seeps into the sewer system through holes, cracks, failed joints, and faulty service taps. Inflow is stormwater that quickly enters the sanitary sewer system from downspouts, foundation drains, and by direct connection to storm sewers. These type of connections are not permitted, but have frequently occurred in the past. The 2010 wastewater master plan update confirmed that the city should focus on I&I reduction in the 3 Mile Creek watershed in the northeast area of the city. GBA did perform flow monitoring in 2012 to identify locations in need of repair. Since then, the city has completed several sanitary sewer I&I projects to help achieve this reduction in I&I. These projects include both the lining of existing pipe, which we awarded this year, and full-scale replacement of pipes and manhole. Westland Construction is doing that right now. Prior to additional work in this watershed, staff feels it's prudent to reevaluate this portion of the watershed to see if what we're doing has made an impact on the amount of I&I that's actually coming into our system. This year we're going to spend about $850,000. We want to make sure that what we're doing is actually producing the results that we need it to do. This project will use 3 temporary flow monitors for a period of 90 days with an option to extend for another 30 if needed. These monitors will help locate, these monitors will be located to help determine what level of improvement the city has accomplished since 2012. The deliverable for this project will be a final report that summarizes the data collected, the flow parameters analyzed, the areas where excessive I&I is occurring, and the impact of our previous projects. A cost to reduction will be evaluated to determine the effectiveness of the repair methods and if other repair methods would be more effective. Also, from the report will be recommendations for the future direction of the I&I program. The cost will be funded from the sanitary sewer I&I funds set aside for this type of work in a not to exceed amount of $86,096. This includes $73,786 for the initial 90-day period. If an additional 30 days is needed to capture more rain events, the total cost would be $86,96. It is best to put the monitors in place now, prior to the spring rains. You want to capture those rain events. If we have a normal spring, we would not need to do the additional 30 days to monitor. The city has been using GBA for professional services related to sanitary sewer projects for the past several years. They completed the flow monitoring in 2012 and have significant experience here in Kansas. Staff does recommend approval of the design services contract with George Butler Associates for the sanitary sewer flow monitoring in an amount not to exceed $86,096. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
No.
Just one question, do we know, maybe ballpark what we spent to, try to fix some of this, issue over the last, 10, 11 years or so, just to kind of know if our impacts have made a difference once we find out?
Well, in 2022, we awarded a contract to Westland for $749,000 and a $46,000 contract to line sanitary sewer pipes. So you're talking a little over $800,000 in that ballpark. I think in 2020, we delayed some projects due to uncertainty with the COVID-19 impacts. But my understanding is probably that we were doing projects every year.
Yeah, so we absolutely have that number, and I can get you the exact
Just
number.
curious, yeah.
We started, I think, in about 2014 or 15 with the basin work, and it was designed at $500,000 a year. That's the part of the sanitary sewer budget that's set aside for I&I. And how we're able to do $750 is if we don't finish the 2021 program in a year, then it carries over to 22. So you would assume 3.5 million, 7 years at $500,000 a year, but we'll get you the exact numbers. We do capture that as a separate line item in the sanitary sewer budget.
Cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
And one thing I would add, this is in one sub-watershed of a bigger watershed. For $500,000,
Yeah.
you don't do a lot of pipe. We did 1,800 feet of pipe this year, and that project was $749,000. It works out to $417 a foot. Yeah.
Most of
Wow.
it's, this year we do right south of Sagasu. There on 7th Street, it was at the project, so it's right next to buildings, it's usually really deep, and it's usually full pipe replacement. We can line in a few places, but these are often 100-year-old storm sanitary sewer pipes that we're.
It's expensive for not a lot of line.
Sure. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Entertain a motion, if there's no other comments.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the design services contract with George Butler Associates, Inc. for the sanitary sewer flow monitoring project in the amount not to exceed $86,096.
Second.
A motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Leonhardt.
Aye.
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 Motion carried, 5-0. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda.
Okay, consent agenda. Move to approve claims for February 11th, 2023 through February 24th, 2023 in the amount of $1,033,114.50. Net amount for payroll number 4, effective February 24th, 2023, in the amount of $372,487.10. Includes police and fire pension in the amount of $10,383.15.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 Motion carried, 5-0. Before we move into the executive session, wanted to go around the table to see if anyone wanted to provide any updates or comments, starting
Sure,
with Paul.
a few if you don't mind. We have successfully filled all the slots for the 3 Mile Creek cleanup program, so that's a great program. Every year we have nonprofit groups who clean 3 Mile Creek, and we make them take pictures, we inspect it afterwards before payment, and so that's a real good way to get a $500 donation to area nonprofits.
That's cool.
That's once a month that we do that program. We are already advertising for lifeguards. We've done really well. We have a very good staff out there and a good pool manager, so we're really fortunate to have some good relationships with area lifeguards, but we're still recruiting for lifeguards. That starts now. I wanted to make a note. I was emailing with the commission a little bit with Commissioner Martin about the water issues in case anybody has smelled or tasted a little bit of foul odor, and we dug a little bit deeper. And that's from about 10 days ago. There was heavy rainfall north of us that flushed a lot of organic intensive material into the river. Usually happens later in the spring, but it does usually happen each year. The water department is on it. They have to change their treatment methods a little bit to account for that organic material. They do that by adding granular carbon to the water. The water is tested and safe, but it does create a smell or a taste difference. So they started adding that late last week, and the water should return to normal about the middle of this week as they sort of balance the chemicals in the treatment of the drinking water. So
Thanks for checking into that.
yeah, it was. I knew that there was a spring term, but it was interesting to learn more about the process they go to counteract those natural occurrences in the spring. So, in case anybody's wondering. And then just finally tonight, we appointed David Schrader, who's the president and CEO of Great Western Manufacturing, to the Leavenworth County Port Authority Board as the city's representative. But the outgoing is Rick Schneider, Exchange Bank and Trust market president. Rick came on when the Port Authority was changed to a 7-member board, when they changed sort of the organizing structure, and so I just wanted to publicly thank Rick for his service. That was kind of a turbulent time, everybody trying to figure out what the new Port Authority looked at. We asked him to do it. Rick's been involved in a lot of stuff over the community over the years, and he reluctantly said yes, but then he did a great job representing the city's interests on the Port Authority board for the last couple of years. So thank him for his service, and certainly looking forward to Dave Schrader, a great local business owner and president and CEO, stepping in on behalf of the city for that port. So
Yes,
I just wanted to say that. That's all I have.
Yep, thanks, Paul.
Okay, no, I don't have anything. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you in March.
Oh, we'll be
Oh, I was like, yeah.
I had the opportunity this past weekend to go and see something put on the Parks and Recreation, which a lot of people think of swimming pools and, the gymnasiums and stuff, and ball fields and such. But they also do live theater. They operate, or they oversee the River City Community Players. And this past weekend, I had an opportunity to go and see their current production, Curtains. Funny musical. It really is a funny musical. I was really, really entertained. I had a great time. There was great fun. Live music for a musical that they haven't had since something like 2014. So, but they had live music. It was a 10-piece orchestra there. And it really was real community theater. Lots of folks in there. So I would highly recommend you go and see it. It's just running this weekend Friday and Saturday at 7:30, and then Sunday, I believe it's at 2, but you could check. But, yeah, it'll be a matinee, and, I mean, just a lot of fun to go and see it. So,
Thank you.
and have a good week.
Commissioner Martin?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I would just encourage everybody and your family members to go out and really, if you've never done it, take a look at our trail system. I love how it's developing more and more, and we've got some really pretty areas around the city that kind of stay hidden sometimes. So anyway, encourage you to do that, and God bless.
Good point. Well, I was glad to see that there was some legislation that did not pass this time. Every few years, we get that they try to make our local elections partisan. And one of the biggest issues that we have against that is that we have so many military and government employees that cannot serve. And if you look at over the years, how many of our government employees have served on our school boards and our city commissions and as mayor and as other things. And so because of the Hatch Act, which is a federal act that says federal employees cannot serve on cannot participate in partisan elections, we are opposed to that. And every few years it comes up. It came up a few years ago, and I'm glad that it failed this time, but I don't know why that keeps coming up. But we need to, that's a big part of our community. We need to make sure that everybody that can run for public office here. So anyway, I'm glad that happened. That's all I need to say. And have a great week.
Yep, and echoing Commissioner Bowder, I think it's important that we do remain nonpartisan when it comes to our local government. Making sure that we find the right individuals that's going to serve the community as a whole instead of just a party. And so I want to say thank you all. God bless you, and I appreciate you at this time. We will move into our executive session.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the city commission recess into executive session for a period of
25 minutes to return at 6:55.
25 minutes to return at 6:55 for the purpose of discussing a real property matter with the city attorney under justification for consultation with an attorney for the public body or agency which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, KSA 75-4319, B2. The city commission, city manager, and city attorney will be present. The open meeting will resume in the city commission chambers at 6:55 p.m.
Second.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Leonhardt.
Aye.
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 All right, motion carried. We're in executive session. We are back in session at this time. If there's no other questions or comments, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Madam Mayor?
Go.
Yep, sorry. Yep, second.
Motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Leonhardt.
Aye.
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 Motion carried, 5-0, meeting adjourned.
I still got time to go to choir practice.
All right.